Have you ever wondered how sleep affects your heart rate? Hello, my successful and healthy earthlings. Mihaela here, naturopath and founder of the Natural Health Podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to share with you your optimal heart rate, how sleep affects your heart rate, and 3 tips to optimize your heart rate. Let's get straight into it. Welcome to the Natural Health Podcast, where we bring awareness to sustainable health in the business hustle space. Natural Health Podcast is perfect for the high-performing, business-minded individuals who want to work with their biochemistry to achieve success and optimal health. It's Mondays with Mihaela. That's right, me. Thank you so much for tuning in. I absolutely love and appreciate your support like always. And here on Mondays, I'm here to provide you with simple, savvy, and sustainable health hacks to optimize your health. And in today's episode, we are talking all about the heart rate. I mean, you probably would have heard about heart rate before, but then we also think about what is that and what is my optimal heart rate, and then how does sleep affect it and how can I optimize it, right? So if you have a smartwatch or some type of fitness tracker, you probably are aware of your heart rate, and you probably are aware that it varies throughout the day. In the morning, it's different to when you exercise, to when you sleep, and so forth. But let's look into first your optimal heart rate, okay? So what is a heart rate? So the heart rate is the number of times your heart beats per minute. That's kind of beautiful, isn't it? It's our heart, which is, keeping us alive, combined with so many other things. We can actually feel how many beats it makes per minute. So you can measure it when you're resting, and you can measure it when you're active, right? So the heart rate is important because the heart's function is just extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary. When you go into what the heart is, how it's connected, what it does, it's just mind-blowing, right? The heart circulates oxygen and nutrient-rich blood throughout the body. When it's not working properly, just about everything is affected, and you know about that if you've had any type of heart issues or heart rate issues. So heart rate is central to the process because the functions of the heart is directly related to heart rate and stroke volume, which is the amount of blood pumped out of each beat. So measuring your heart rate is actually quite simple. It's kind of like as checking your pulse, right? So what you need to do is you check your pulse. So you can find your pulse over your wrist, and you can find that on your neck too, okay? You can also find it inside of an elbow. I haven't done this one before, but oh no, actually I have done the elbow one because that's where I put the thing there to measure it. You can do a side of the neck and top of the foot. I haven't done top of the foot before, okay? So what you do is you literally find it. You'll find it pulsating. There you go, I found mine. And you count, so you can count for 30 seconds. You can have a stopwatch in front of you and multiply the count by 2, 30 plus 30, 60, which means 1 minute. So if I count, let's say, in 30 seconds, I count 25 beats. I just times it by 2, it's 50 beats. So therefore my heart rate is 50. Yeah, so that's interesting. You can do that. You can do it on the neck. You can do it on the wrist, inner elbow, and top of the foot, right? So according to the American Heart Association, the average resting heart rate is 60 to 100 beats per minute. The number can rise with age and physical exercise and so forth. So now that you've measured it, so take a second, pause this, measure it, see what yours is. So if yours is between 60 and 100, it's considered as to an average resting heart rate. But what is optimal, right? That's what we're going to go into. So figure out what you got. I think mine last one when I checked, it was 54. So it's 50, 52 or something along those lines. So mine is actually lower than it's supposed to be. But let's go into what it may mean. Okay, so slow heart rate can be, and this is among healthy people, can be due to being physically fit, medication, if you're on medication, if you're sleeping, but it can also be a sign of a heart attack or other heart disease. It can be certain infections, a high level of potassium in the blood, and underactive thyroid gland. This can mean that you'll have a slow heart rate because of this. If it's fast, it can be due to exercise. So especially if you're doing some rigid exercise and then you measure it. You could be nervous or excited, which is absolutely considered normal if you are a bit nervous or excited. It could be due to coffee or cocaine or any other stimulants that you may be on, or you're pregnant. But then also what can happen is if your heart rate is too high, it could be due to infections that cause fever, heart problems. Certain medications such as the EpiPen can do that. Low levels of potassium, so the opposite. An overactive thyroid or too much thyroid medication, so the opposite of an underactive. Anemia, asthma, or other breathing issues. So for you to measure your resting heart rate, you actually need to sit and be rested. You can't walk around the house and then sit down and measure it because you might get the wrong reading, okay? Many things affect your heart rate, and this is what I want to talk about. Physical exercise affects your heart rate. If you've been moving around a lot, your heart rate will increase 100% in will. Also, physical level. What is your current physical level? Because your resting heart rate may be lower if you are fitter, but depending if you don't have any of those issues that we spoke about. Air temperature. On hot days, your heart rate might pump more quickly, right? Emotions, such as feeling stressed, overly excited, it might raise your heart rate. Medicines, some of these decrease your heart rate, such as beta blockers, while others can increase it, such as thyroid medication. Your age, right? With age, the rate regularity of your pulse can change and can be a sign of heart problems. I'll actually tell you an interesting story. When I was studying naturopathy, we were testing each other's heart rates. We're going around testing it, and this is why I don't like multiplying it. I actually like listening or feeling the heart rate and seeing if there's a skip or if there's some type of abnormality, because it was supposed to go tuk, 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 right? Like that, right? So constant and the same. However, this lady that I was checking her heart rate, it went like this. Tuk, 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 tuk. So it was very irregular, and I was like, I don't know what's up. I called the lecturer, he checked it, and he said, look, I think you need to go get your heart checked. So it's interesting because maybe, I don't know, this individual may have or had then heart issues, but just by checking that, we determined we're proactive in a way to be like, hey, just check it out to make sure it's all good. I don't know what happened, but I hope that she's all good. It was just an interesting thing. So this is why I like to count it for the whole 60 seconds to see if there is an irregularity. Okay. So let's look about how sleep affects your heart rate. Now that you know how important your heart rate, having an optimal heart rate is, let's look at how sleep actually affects it. Does it affect it in a positive, negative way? So during sleep, the nervous system is reduced. The functioning of the nervous system is reduced. We all know that, right? Everything kind of slows down when we're sleeping because we're just laying there. So as we're falling asleep, our heart rate gradually slows down to its resting rate, and we go into light sleep, what's known as light sleep. Our body temperature drops, that's why we might get a bit colder, our muscles relax. People typically spend about half of their sleep in light sleep, but during the next phase, which is the deep sleep, the blood pressure falls and your heart rate drops to 20 to 30% below your resting heart rate. So it drops a lot. So that's why, when you think about it, if our heart slows down when we're sleeping, right, and it's a bit faster when we're awake, how important is sleep? Think about that, right? So when you're dreaming also, you enter sleep known as REM sleep, and what can happen is your heart rate varies depending if you're having like a scary dream, a crazy dream, an exciting dream. It does the same things as it would during the day, right? It pumps up a bit faster if something anxious or scary is happening, and so forth, right? But the evidence demonstrates that sleeping problems, including sleep deprivation, fragmented sleep, have negative effects on your heart health. So this kind of shows a little bit into how important sleep is, right? So sleep is actually an essential time for your body to recuperate. I think the studies say if you don't sleep for 11 days, you die. Right, so you can go without food for 11 days and you won't die, and we're all about, oh my gosh, we need food, everyone's saying we need to eat. But if you don't sleep for a period of time, you're actually dead, right? So the thing is that without sufficient night sleep, a person doesn't spend enough time in deep stage of an REM sleep, and that benefits the heart. The same problems can affect people who have their sleep interrupted. It's not just about sleeping, it's about being interrupted. As a result, chronic sleep deprivation has been linked to numerous heart problems, including high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart attack, obesity, stroke, and diabetes. So yes, sleep is so important, right? So sleep and heart rate, I looked a little bit into that. So in normal sleep, like I said before, I'm going to mention it again, the heart rate drops, okay? And then picks back up as we're going to wake up. So our heart rate picks back up, it goes wake up, right? So poor sleep, including abrupt awakings, which includes nightmares, night terrors, or alarm clocks. Yes, alarm clocks are very dangerous for you. It can generate a sharp uptick in the heart rate. So imagine if you're having this amazing sleep, you have an alarm clock there, and all of a sudden it goes, duh, duh, duh. I don't know, a lot of people have those alarm clocks. I know I used to, but now it's a lot gentler. But imagine if it was, duh, duh, right, your heart rate jumps up. That is not good for your heart, right? So think about that, right? So poor sleep, including abrupt wakings, which I'll talk about, can abruptly sharpen ticks in the heart rate. Research also found that people with sleeping problems are more likely to complain of an irregular heartbeat. And that's the thing that I was talking about before, instead of right? For those reasons, lack of sleep may be tied to heart palpitations. In addition, a study in older adults found that people who have frequent nightmares were considerably more likely to report having an irregular heartbeat. Nightmares may increase your heart rate, and if a person's sleep is disrupted by a nightmare, they may wake up feeling like their heart is racing. And I've had that happen before, and I'm pretty sure you have too, right? Sleep interruptions have been linked to potential heart attacks. I'm going to repeat that again. Sleep interruptions have been linked to potential heart attacks. What are sleep interruptions? Noise, right? Noise. Sleep interruptions are emotions. Sleep interruptions are dreams. Sleep interruptions are the person that you may be sleeping next to. They're snoring, right? So individuals who sleep with someone who has sleep apnea or snores, their sleep is actually affected also. Their sleep is affected, I think the actual person that's snoring is like 80%, and the person next to them is 60%. That is a lot. That's a high percentage. So if you have a partner that snores. If you have a partner that snores or has sleep apnea, either sleep in different beds or get that sorted, because you need to look after your health, right? So this is the thing that we're saying is that sleep is directly linked to heart health, right? Including your heart rate, because when your heart rate is slow, I spoke about the issues that may arise, but I also spoke about if your heart rate is too fast, the other issues that may come with it, right? So there you have it. Now you know how important sleep is for your heart health. Let's look at 3 tips to optimize your heart health. And I'm going to go quickly into this. Number 1, exercise. Exercise improves heart rate dramatically, as we saw individuals who are fitter, have a fitter fitness level and exercise, have a lower heart rate, and it's beneficial, okay? And I might even go into another podcast and talk about heart rate variability, because that is key to talk about if we're talking about heart rate, but that is definitely for another episode. The other one is breathing. But proper breathing. What am I talking about? Nose, diaphragm, breathing, bam, there you have it. It's going to help with your heart rate. The other one is sleep. If you don't know by now, you know that sleep is going to help your heart health. So there you have it. If you have any sleep issues, if you know someone who has sleep issues or heart issues, send this episode to them, because they need to know the link between the sleep and their heart, because it is directly linked together and they're going to benefit each other. Look, if you're interested in getting all of this information, plus bonuses, plus specials, sign up to the Natural Health newsletter. It comes out every Friday, and it's filled with information about these episodes. You'll be able to click onto them, research, bonuses, guests. It's all in there, quick and easy, sent out weekly. Subscribe, click on the link below and get onto it. Join a community that's there for you to optimize your health. And remember, the missing link between health, So the missing link between failure and success is your health. I got a bit excited and chucked in health in there straight away. But remember that, and I will see you next Monday.